United Kingdom's daily efforts to censor speech and undermine its farmers have left the once great nation resembling a communist regime. Yet its leaders remain determined to continue their march towards dystopia, now by targeting elderly citizens with state-sponsored euthanasia. The push for legalized euthanasia has reached British shores, accompanied by grim subway advertisements and endorsements in The Economist. Canada's monstrous euthanasia program should serve as a warning for other Western nations. Instead, the UK seems intent on driving headfirst into this moral abyss. The growing embrace of industrial-scale medical suicide is no coincidence. It reflects the natural trajectory of the modern totalitarian state. Every elite class requires a political formula, a narrative to justify its authority. For the managerial elite, that formula is expertise and efficiency. In a complex world dominated by massive bureaucracies, these sprawling systems demand the technical knowledge and managerial skill of those at the top. Bureaucracies thrive on uniformity, and the managerial elite depend on predictable outcomes to deliver the promised efficiency and material abundance. This obsession with control fosters a need for social engineering, a new kind of human subject, malleable and obedient to the designs of the ruling class. In the modern total state, control extends to every aspect of life, including death. The push for euthanasia reflects the ultimate expression of this ideology, a system that dictates not just how people live, but when and how they die. In 2009, the debate over the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare as it became popularly known, was in full swing. Former Alaska Governor Sarah Palin famously warned that government-controlled health care would inevitably lead to death panels that would decide whether patients could continue to receive treatment. The media, of course, mocked Palin and labeled her ignorant and accused her of spreading misinformation about Obamacare, but her warnings have been vindicated. The link between dependency and sovereignty is undeniable. When the state assumes responsibility for an individual's care from birth, it will inevitably influence decisions about when the individual's life should end. In 2016, Canada introduced the Medical Assistance in Dying program, or MAID. Like other state-sponsored euthanasia initiatives, MAID was initially marketed as a compassionate option for terminally ill patients to end their suffering. The messaging focused on dignity and self-determination, and the idea that the program would be a rare solution for extreme cases. By 2022, however, MAID accounted for more than 13,000 deaths annually, a 31% increase from the previous year of 2021, and represented 4.1% of all deaths in Canada. Far from serving only the elderly or those in chronic pain, MAID has facilitated the deaths of poor people who are unable to afford rent and people suffering from mental illness. In a striking example of the slippery slope, Canada's euthanasia program shifted from offering a dignified end for the terminally ill to ending the lives of young people grappling with anxiety over the cost of living. Everyone knows that college is a major investment, so it's important to do your homework. You want to find out if a school shares your values, but who has the time to dig through all of those different college websites hoping to find out what they really believe? Well, today I'm excited to share a new online resource that does that work for you, ChristianCollegeGuide.com. It's an online directory of over 250 Christian colleges, and it's a one-stop shop. Like any other college guide, it's going to give you all the basics, acceptance rates, tuition costs, academic majors, etc. But here's what makes ChristianCollegeGuide.com special. You can use this guide to learn about a school's faith tradition, its campus policies, and its spiritual life. All of the info that shows a college's true character. You'll find answers to over 150 questions for every school profiled, making this the definitive guide to Christian higher education. And the best part? This college guide is free to the public. That's right, it's free. Just go to ChristianCollegeGuide.com to create a user profile and get started today. That's ChristianCollegeGuide.com. The managerial revolution that began in the 1930s and 40s led Western governments to build modern welfare states. These welfare programs, like Social Security in the United States or the National Healthcare Service in the United Kingdom, relied on massive bureaucracies and experts who claimed that they could predict human behavior, including fertility rates and life expectancy. Policymakers structured their welfare systems basically like Ponzi schemes, assuming continuous generational growth would sustain them. A sharp decline in birth rates created a crisis for social planners, and in response, many governments embraced replacement-level immigration, both legal and illegal, to offset demographic decline. When immigration failed to stabilize their systems, managerial states turned to euthanasia to ease demographic pressures. What began as a welfare state's reliance on predictable human behavior has now devolved into using death as a solution to economic and demographic challenges. As a man who lost his first wife after a painful battle with cancer, I understand on a deep level why the arguments for euthanasia can seem compelling. Watching a loved one suffering in a situation that will never improve is heartrending. But mass industrialized euthanasia is a terrible solution to a very difficult problem. The state isn't killing you to spare your dignity. It's killing you because you're inconvenient. While it's unpleasant to discuss, those who no longer wish to live are rarely deprived of the means to end their lives, except in the case of total medical incapacitation. Modern technology can extend life far beyond its natural duration, and patients should have the right to refuse such interventions if they choose. However, transforming suicide into a large-scale, state-run procedure is a dangerous step with predictable and troubling consequences. When the extermination of human life becomes just another bureaucratic task, the value of life inevitably diminishes to a mere statistic. Bureaucratic institutions, once established, naturally seek to expand their missions and jurisdictions. Managers within these systems are incentivized to increase their power by broadening the scope of their operations. Programs designed to address specific problems often evolve into blunt instruments, searching for new applications. This tendency is a troubling feature of all bureaucracies, but it becomes particularly alarming when the mission involves ending human life on a large scale. As it becomes increasingly clear that mass immigration will fail to resolve the economic challenges facing Western nations, calls for state-sponsored euthanasia will grow louder. Advocates will present industrial suicide cloaked in the language of compassion, but these programs are destined to morph into the death panels that Palin warned about. The same heartless bureaucrats who outsource jobs and open borders for economic gain aren't championing euthanasia out of genuine concern for dignity. A ruling elite that truly cared about its nation would address the spiritual and material issues preventing family formation, community building, and the broader factors that make life meaningful. Instead, we're governed by an elite that is seemingly intent on overseeing the suicide of the West. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed this video, go ahead and click like, and if you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time to do so. If you'd like to get these broadcasts as podcasts, make sure to subscribe to the Auron MacIntyre Show on your favorite podcast platform, and if you do, leave a rating or a review. It really helps with the algorithm magic. If you're looking for the perfect Christmas gift, or you just want to support the show, you can head over to shopblazemedia.com. There is brand new merchandise for the Auron MacIntyre Show there, and the team did a great job. There's all kinds of hats and shirts and mugs. Plenty of the memes and things from the show are right there. So if you want to support what I'm doing here, head to shopblazemedia.com and pick something up for yourself or for a loved one who really loves the show during the holiday season. If you want to follow me on Twitter or Gab or Instagram or Substack, if you would like to watch these videos on Rumble or Odyssey, the links to do all of that are down below in the description. And of course, you can catch all of my shows and read all of my columns over at The Blaze. Thanks for watching, guys, and as always, I'll talk to you next time.